After missing the boat in the early 80s, letting the project created by Matra go to Renault for lack of means, Peugeot Société Anonyme finally reacts in the early 90s and associates with Fiat to produce a minivan intended for 4 different brands: Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat, and Lancia. It is then a matter of investing in a market that has become mature thanks to space and justifying substantial investments. Pragmatic, the two partners then imagine a vehicle that is certainly not very glamorous, but has perfectly integrated the practical and modular needs of the customers, while being easily declinable into very profitable utility versions. At Peugeot, the new car takes the number 806, Evasion at Citroën, Ulysse at Fiat and Zeta for the rarest of the 4 at Lancia. To fully understand the genesis of the 806, Evasion, Ulysse, and Zeta, we have to go back to the end of the year 79. Since the takeover of Chrysler Europe in July 1978, Peugeot Société Anonyme has become the owner of 45% of Matra automobiles, and it is quite naturally that Philippe Guédon presents his project to the group's management, launched in June and named P16. It is an astonishing minivan made on the technical basis of a Talbot Solara. Contrary to popular belief, Peugeot looks favorably on this proposal and encourages the Matra teams to further their studies. Followed then by the P17, shorter, based on an Horizon, then the P18, longer and more upscale, of which a running prototype was made. Peugeot gives its approval to start a series of tests, but abandons the project in April 1982 for financial reasons. The situation is dire for the group. Citroën rejects the P20 project based on the BX platform for the same reasons. The need for money is such that Peugeot Société Anonyme sells its shares to the Matra Group at the same time. The men of Matra then turn to Renault to launch the space. The beginnings of the minivan in Los Angeles are difficult and reinforce the leaders of Peugeot Société Anonyme in the idea that they did well to give up the proposal of Matra. Especially since the Peugeot 505 family wagons or Citroën 110 still meet the requirements of customers looking for space for transport or for a large family. However, as time goes by, Peugeot Société Anonyme cannot deny the slow but tangible success of the Renault Espace. The financial situation, rectified thanks to the success of the Citroën BX and the Peugeot 205, finally allows for calm consideration of a minivan project. However, there's no question of investing excessively in this still fragile market. Prudently, Peugeot Société Anonyme therefore convinces Fiat to partner up to produce a minivan as well as its utility derivatives. The agreement between the two groups was signed on December 19th, 1988, only 4 years after the launch of the Espace, which that year was only produced in 31,000 units. The grounds of the former Simca factory, closed in 1985 but still owned by Peugeot, are chosen to house the new factory that will manufacture its future minivans. Work begins in 1990 while the development of the new model is started to give birth to 4 distinct versions. A high-end version for the old one with the Zeta, a rather bourgeois version for Peugeot with the 806, and more accessible versions for Citroën with the Evasion and for Fiat with the Ulysse. The 4 bodies present a unique profile, quite basic and square, and only differ in a few details. There is a sense among the two partners of wanting to take as few risks as possible, both stylistically and financially. On the other hand, the modularity dear to space is fully integrated. Perfectly flat floor, removable seat up to 8 places, while the very geometric silhouette easily allows the loading of anything and everything. Production begins in 1994. The 806 Evasion Ulysse and Zeta are marketed in the spring with gasoline engines only, a 2-liter atmospheric engine with 123 horsepower or a turbo with 150 horsepower. The engine offer will include more than just the atmospheric or turbo block. From 1995, they received the 1.9-liter turbo diesel with 92 horsepower. In 1996, the petrol range expanded downwards with a 1.8-liter with 98 horsepower. While in diesel, the 2.1-liter turbo diesel comes to lend a hand with its 110 horsepower. In 1999, the 2 diesel engines gave way to a single 2-liter high-pressure direct injection, while a mid-range 2-liter, 138 horsepower engine appears in petrol. These two engines will be the sole option in 2001 at the end of the model's run. In terms of sales, they compete with the space and find their respective clientele without revolutionizing the market. Meanwhile, the competition has increased. Since 1995, beyond Renault, there is notably a German origin trio: Ford, Volkswagen, and Seat. If the market is expanding, the commercial battle is raging. However, Peugeot Société Anonyme and its Italian ally have thought of everything. The brilliant idea to make the investment profitable is not to settle for a minivan, but to quickly produce utility derivatives, something no competitor will dare to do. However, if the 806 Evasion and Consort are not beauty first prizes, it turns out to be perfectly suited for professional use. Thus, in 1995, Peugeot Société Anonyme and Fiat launched the Citroën Jumpy, the Peugeot Expert, and the Fiat Scudo. Because while the minivan market does indeed exist, it is becoming increasingly competitive. With a utility version, almost 600,000 more units came out of the factory until 2006 before handing over to other models. On their part, production of the 806 Evasion Zeta and Ulysse ended in 2001. In total, Peugeot will sell 168,000 units, while Citroën will find 121,000 customers. The Zeta, for its part, is the rarest with only 20,000 units. In total, all these cumulative sales are enough to continue with 4 new models as long as the market demands it, despite the competition from compact MPVs like the Renault Scenic. The intelligence of the project was to derive utilities from it, allowing the amortization of studies and the construction of the factory, then to become very profitable in addition to the association with Fiat. Starting late in the race for MPVs, Peugeot Société Anonyme quickly made up for its delay thanks to its models that are more practical than aesthetic, but equipped with surprising road qualities. And before concluding, let's go back for a moment to 1995, when Peugeot and the Belgian team Kronos had a crazy but profitable idea since years later, we still remember it. Engaged in the 24 Hours of Spa, a competition 806 to assert the sporty and sharp character of the French multi-purpose vehicle. The Kronos team designs a real race car in record time. Running gear, suspensions, and brakes are reviewed, while a 2-liter engine with a 306 Maxi lower engine and a 405 Super Tourism upper engine of 280 horsepower takes place under the hood of the car. The team manages the feat of qualifying the 806 to an excellent 12th place. The race's harshness will bring the team back to reality. The configuration of the car with a high center of gravity puts a lot of strain on the braking and differential, requiring frequent pit stops. In the end, the 806 had to retire during the night after the super engine broke down and then the block itself broke. Despite this, the 806 Kronos will have left a lasting impression, and that's what really matters. And you? Do you have a story with one of these minivans? Even if they are not exciting, they are real memory boxes. Tell me about it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss all the new videos every week.